So today I'm going to show you how to install the rear hub assemblies on the Ford Super Duties. This is a 2005. I've seen some videos on YouTube and the specs are kind of off, and I wanted to show you what Ford specs wants us to do on the instructions. So I'm going to give you step by step here. We are not replacing the bearings on this one. The only thing we replaced was the backing plate, and the bearings are fine. And we replaced the brake shoes for the emergency brake. So we're ready to put the hub on. We used a wire wheel on a drill just to clean this off, make it all nice and clean so it wasn't all rusty. And so now we're just gonna install the new hub seal, and we're gonna install the hub on here. So I'm gonna show you how to do that. So let's get to that real quick. The hub seal, I already pounded this one on. So what you do is you take your old seal and stick it on there like that. And I use this specialty tool here. It's a seal installer for an 03, 04, well, even the 99s on the front wheel hubs. Use this tool to pound the new seal into the wheel hub assembly. So this actually fits on here nice and even, and then you can beat that so that way you're not messing up the seal here on the going into this hub. So this is the old seal. So they usually, when you take these out, they come apart in two pieces, so you got to kind of pound the other one out of there. So there's the new seal installed, and we're gonna pack the bearings. So on these bearings, you can tell if they're worn or not, but these ones are actually in really good shape. So they're just a little dirty. So we're just gonna clean them off, pack them with grease, and then we're gonna stick this on the truck. So let's get to that, and I'll give you some torque specs here as we're doing this. Okay, so now what we're doing is we're just gonna grease this bearing up, just like that. We're just using a waterproof grease. It's pretty heavy duty, but it works. I use it on everything on these trucks. I use it on all the O-rings. I've been using it for 15 years and never had an issue with this grease. It doesn't cause your O-rings to swell up, and works really good on the bearing. So just place it into the wheel hub like that. Let's go. And then you're gonna throw that on there. Okay. And then you got your, so inside of here, there's a keyway, and that's what this nut has, a key on there, so you can make sure that it slides on that keyway. And then start it by hand. Make sure you don't cross thread this. And on the driver's side, it's reverse thread, so. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna torque this to 70 foot-pounds. Okay. Now we're gonna back off the hub nut 90 degrees. Okay, 90 degrees. Now we're gonna tighten the hub nut back to 18 foot-pounds. And then to verify that there's no in play, I'm going to show you how to stick we got a dial indicator we're going to put on the surface of the hub to check side-to-side in play. So 18 foot-pounds. Right there. Okay. Now we're going to put a dial indicator on, and I'm going to spin this to make sure that there's no in play. And right now, it actually feels really tight, but I'm going to show you how you use a dial indicator on this. Okay, so to set up this dial indicator, what I did, this is a magnetic indicator. So I stick it right on the end of the axle here, and then turn it on. Make sure that this doesn't hit. Okay, so this is spinning, this isn't moving. Okay, this is nice and tight. And I'm going to put this dial indicator right on the edge of the hub right here. So we'll just put it to 0, right, or close enough. Just get it to where this isn't gonna spin there. Tighten that up. It's really not gonna matter where this needle goes. Okay, so what this is gonna do is it's gonna rub. Come on. Let's get it to where there's some pressure on here. Okay, so it's hitting. So it's just hitting the hole, but you could tell on the needle, so it just bounces every time it hits a hole, but there's no in play. It stays right there. Okay, so that's how you know that there's no wobble in the hub assembly. Okay, now since we got that the way the book says, now to make sure that you have not too much tension on this nut, we're going to put a bolt in. Okay, this is one of the axle bolts. Okay, and then we're going to get a torque wrench, and we're going to put 20 inch-pounds on the torque wrench to this nut. If you can spin this with less than 20 inch-pounds, then you know that your nut right here is not too tight. So that's how the torque spec's rated off. So 70 foot-pounds, back off 90, tighten it back up to 18, and then check your play make sure that this thing's not wobbling, and that's how you know that your bearings are not worn out as well. And then to check to make sure that this isn't too tight, 20 inch-pounds on this. So let's get another torque wrench, and then I'll show you how to check that. Okay, so we got torque wrench to inch-pounds. Okay, so this is set to 20, and then I just took the axle shaft, just put a bolt in here. You can also go to the outside too if you want to stick a nut on this one, but basically if you were to hold your hand here and have this set, that's 20 inch-pounds. Okay, so since I took my hand off and I can move this without the torque wrench clicking, then I know that the freewheel on this is right where it needs to be. If you are too tight, then you would basically, you'd be torquing the nut at 20 inch-pounds and this hub wouldn't be moving. So that's how you know you'd be too tight on that nut. So if I really want to, hand me that socket over there. I can go one more click. Okay. Another click. See right there? It's almost close. I just want to get it to where it's too far. Just to give you an example here. Right there. See, that's too much. Even though I can still spin it pretty loose. See how the torque wrench is torquing at 20? So that's how you know it's too tight. So I'll just go ahead and back this off. And now it's back to spinning freely under the 20 inch-pounds of torque. Okay. So, where's another torque wrench at? Where this was. Go back to 18. And my 18 foot-pounds here. Okay. So I'm still at 18 foot-pounds back, and that's good to go. And this spins freely. So that's how you torque this down according to Ford Watercraft, okay? Now on the axle shaft itself, there's an O-ring on here. So make sure that the O-ring's in good condition. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some grease on here. If it's ripped up at all, make sure you replace it, or if it's flattened out, make sure you replace it. But I'm just gonna put grease on here. We're gonna slide this in. The torque specs on these bolts are 98 foot-pounds. So, but that's just about it to getting this done. If you have water, if you notice when you take this out and there's bubbles on it, it's because the oil is mixing with water, and your seal at the front of the drive shaft, where the drive shaft connects to the pumpkin, is probably leaking. So if you go into like a big puddle or something, and if water's getting in from that, from the front, it'll try to get the water to come on the shafts, and that's how you know that you got a leak on those seals as well. But usually if these seals are bad on the inside of these hubs, you'll notice on the inside of your tire, you'll have just a big spray from oil just spraying to the tire from the tire rotating. But anyways, we're gonna throw this in here, put this back together. The reason why we replaced the backing plates is because the old ones rusted out. So we went ahead and put all new hardware, pads, backing plate. The bearings look good in here, so we didn't have to replace the bearings, but we did new seals, and yeah, we're just gonna put it all back together and get this customer out of here. Anyways, if you have any questions, please send an email over to support@powerstrokekustoms.com, or you can also comment on the video and subscribe. Thank you.